Welcome to Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, the story that boldly asks the question, what if your life imploded, but make it charming and aggressively small town? Before we jump back into the story, just a quick moment of honesty. These videos run on caffeine, late nights, and pure chaos, but we love every second of it. If our over-the-top humor and dramatic recaps are your thing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us keep the madness going and tells YouTube we're not just screaming into the void. Stick around, join the fun, and help our tiny corner of the internet grow. Now, let's get back to it. Naomi Witt enters the narrative the way all emotionally stable people do, by climbing out of a church bathroom window and abandoning her own wedding rehearsal. Yes, this is the baseline. Fresh off realizing that marrying a rich, controlling entrepreneur might be a mistake, Naomi heads to Knockemout, Virginia, a small northern town with big opinions, to help her estranged twin sister Tina. The sisters are identical in looks only. Personality-wise, Tina is chaos wrapped in bad decisions, while Naomi is optimism with a side of denial. Naomi's plan is simple: reconnect, help her sister, and maybe process the whole almost married a walking red flag situation later. Unfortunately, Tina has her own plan. Within minutes of Naomi's arrival, Tina steals Naomi's car, drains her cash, vanishes into the ether, and casually leaves behind her 11-year-old daughter, Waylay. Because why not? Naomi, stunned but functional, does the only logical thing. She stays. She bonds with Waylay immediately, recognizing that the kid is smart, sarcastic, and far more emotionally mature than most adults in this story. Now stranded in Knockemout with zero money, a surprised child, and unresolved trauma, Naomi finds a job at the local bar. Enter Knox Morgan. He's tall, grumpy, emotionally barricaded, and owns half the town because he won the state lottery 2 years ago. Naturally, this has ruined his relationship with his brother Nash, the town sheriff, and turned Knox into a man who prefers the company of his basset hound over human interaction. Knox and Naomi notice each other immediately because romance novels are not subtle. They agree, out loud, that neither of them wants a relationship. This is, of course, a lie. Still, Knox steps in when it matters, making sure Naomi and Waylay have a roof over their heads, especially since Child Protective Services is now very interested in why an abandoned child is living above a bar. As Naomi settles into town life, making friends and becoming suspiciously beloved by everyone, tension quietly brews. Both Morgan brothers are drawn to her warmth and resilience, but before that turns into anything messier, Knockemout reminds everyone it's not just quirky, it's dangerous. A routine traffic stop ends with Nash being shot, abruptly shifting priorities and drawing clear emotional lines. After Nash recovers, the tension between the brothers fades, replaced by an unspoken understanding. Nash recognizes Knox's feelings for Naomi and steps back. Naomi, watching all of this unfold, begins to see Knox not just as the closed-off bartender, but as a man shaped by loss, loyalty, and fear of repeating past mistakes. Just like that, the stage is set. A runaway bride, a stolen child, a broody bartender, and a town that refuses to mind its business. Welcome home. Life in Knockemout doesn't slow down just because Naomi's entire existence has derailed. It speeds up and hands her more responsibility. With Tina still missing and absolutely useless, Naomi steps fully into the role of Waylay's guardian, not because she planned it, but because someone has to be the adult in the room, and the actual parent has fled the state. Waylay, meanwhile, adapts frighteningly well, settling into Naomi's life as if this arrangement makes perfect sense. CPS hovers in the background, politely but firmly reminding Naomi that good intentions do not count as legal documentation. Naomi does what she does best. She tries. She works hard at the bar, charms the locals, and somehow manages to become emotionally invested in half the town within days. Knockemout responds by adopting her whether she wants it or not. She makes friends, becomes part of the daily rhythm, and starts to feel like this accidental life might actually work. And this is where the story quietly tightens its grip, because once Naomi belongs, the stakes get higher. Knox, despite his best efforts to remain emotionally unavailable and grumpy about it, keeps showing up. He checks on Naomi. He checks on Waylay. He handles problems without asking for credit. The attraction between them simmers, unspoken but impossible to ignore. Both insist, repeatedly, that they are not relationship people. This declaration is made right before intense eye contact, meaningful silences, and escalating proximity. Denial is strong with these two. The walls are cracking, the town is watching, and whatever this is between Naomi and Knox, it's no longer just chemistry pretending to be coincidence. At this point in Things We Never Got Over, Naomi's life in Knockemout has officially crossed the line from temporary detour into permanent emotional entanglement. With Tina still missing and Waylay firmly rooted at Naomi's side, Naomi makes a bold and terrifying move. She contacts her parents, the same parents who have no idea they have an 11-year-old granddaughter. Naturally, they show up almost immediately because nothing says healthy family dynamics, like surprise, grandchildren, and unresolved history. The visit is complicated. Naomi's parents want to help, want to reconnect, and want answers. Waylay, meanwhile, handles them with cautious intelligence, clocking every adult emotion in the room. Through it all, Naomi's devotion to Waylay becomes crystal clear. This isn't obligation anymore. It's commitment. Whatever Tina broke, Naomi is determined not to repeat. Knox watches all of this from the sidelines, pretending he isn't deeply affected. This is the phase where his gruff exterior starts failing spectacularly. He spends more time with Naomi. He opens his space to her. He stops pretending that this is casual, and eventually, inevitability does what it does best. Naomi and Knox sleep together, and the book makes it very clear this is not mediocre, forgettable sex. This is the life-altering, emotionally destabilizing kind. Naturally, both of them immediately agree that it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Definitely not feelings. Of course, reality disagrees, and just when Naomi starts to feel safe, emotionally, physically, geographically, her past crashes into the bar in the form of her ex-fiancé. He's wealthy, entitled, and furious that Naomi didn't return to New York when summoned like an overdue package. He demands she leave Knockemout, dismisses her life there as a phase, and escalates when she refuses. Knox steps in without hesitation and punches him out. Romance novel law is very clear on this point. Violence is unacceptable unless it's protective and deeply satisfying. Afterward, Knox finally starts to unravel. He opens up about what the lottery win did to him, how sudden wealth fractured his family, destroyed his relationship with Nash, and made him distrustful of anyone who might want something from him. He talks about his father's alcoholism and the emotional damage it left behind. The walls come down just enough to reveal how afraid Knox is of wanting more. And that fear wins. Despite their connection, despite Naomi, despite Waylay, Knox pulls back. He refuses to commit. He convinces himself that loving Naomi will only end badly. The result is a breakup that hurts precisely because neither of them doubts the feelings, only the future. Naomi is left heartbroken, but standing. Knox is left alone, exactly where he thought he was safest. And somewhere out there, Tina is still missing, quietly setting up the storm that's about to hit. Just when things are emotionally wrecked enough, Things We Never Got Over reminds everyone that Tina has been missing for a reason, and it was never going to be a harmless one. Tina finally resurfaces, and she does not arrive with apologies, explanations, or growth. She arrives with a kidnapping. Waylay is taken without warning, ripping Naomi's fragile sense of stability straight out from under her. Any remaining illusion that Tina is merely irresponsible evaporates instantly. Tina lures Naomi into a trap by promising answers, and Naomi, because she is desperate and terrified and Waylay is everything, goes. This leads to an abandoned industrial park outside Washington, D.C., where the story takes a sharp left turn into full-blown crime thriller territory. Waiting there is Tina's boyfriend, who turns out to be the son of a notorious Washington crime boss. He's ambitious, reckless, and deeply annoyed. Here's the problem. Tina and her boyfriend were involved in a massive stolen car operation. Not small-time crime. Organized, strategic, and bloody. They had critical information stored on a flash drive. Names, details, including corrupt officers who needed to be eliminated. That flash drive is now missing, and Waylay, clever and observant as always, hid it. Unfortunately, this makes her extremely valuable. The boyfriend is convinced that threatening Naomi will force Waylay to reveal where the flash drive is hidden. As the situation escalates, everything snaps into focus for Naomi. This is who shot Nash. This is what Tina has been running from, and this is how dangerous her sister truly is. Tina isn't a victim of circumstance. She's an active participant who chose herself over her child again. Before the threat can turn fatal, the cavalry arrives. The police storm the scene, led by Knox and Nash. The chaos explodes exactly as expected. Shouting, movement, arrests. Tina's boyfriend manages to escape because villains rarely face consequences immediately. Tina, however, does not. She's taken into custody, finally facing the legal reckoning she spent years outrunning. In the aftermath, the emotional damage hits harder than the physical danger. Waylay is safe. Naomi is shattered. Knox, seeing Naomi in real danger, realizes the truth he's been avoiding. His fear cost him time he almost didn't have. The emotional distance, the resistance, the breakup, all of it feels painfully pointless now. Knox doesn't hesitate this time. He chooses Naomi, fully, publicly, permanently. He proposes, not because everything is suddenly perfect, but because losing her is no longer an option he's willing to consider. With Tina facing serious prison time and no path back into Waylay's life, Naomi and Knox move forward together, united in their commitment to adopt Waylay and finally turn this chaos into something solid. The running stops here. 5 years later, Things We Never Got Over delivers the emotional epilogue victory lap. And yes, it still hurts, just in a softer, more sentimental way. Knockemout hasn't changed much, but Naomi and Knox absolutely have. The chaos has settled into something resembling stability, which in this universe is the highest possible achievement. Waylay is no longer the abandoned 11-year-old with a sharp tongue and survival instincts. She's older, confident, and preparing to leave for college on a soccer scholarship. This development is objectively positive and emotionally devastating. Naomi handles it with the grace of someone who has spent years loving a child fiercely while knowing this moment would come. Knox, on the other hand, handles it like a man watching his heart walk away with a duffel bag. Their family didn't stop with Waylay. Unable to have biological children, Naomi and Knox chose to expand their family through adoption. Twice. Their household now includes a 3-year-old and a baby, because peace was never really the goal. The house is loud, messy, full of life, and unmistakably theirs. Waylay's departure doesn't mean loss. It means proof that they did something right. As Waylay steps into her future, Naomi and Knox face the next chapter together, older, wiser, still sarcastic, and deeply in love. The fear that once ruled Knox's decisions no longer calls the shots. Naomi's instinct to nurture has finally found a home that gives back. And that's the real ending. Not the proposal, not the danger, not the drama, just a family built out of mistakes, stubborn love, and the things they almost never got over, but did anyway. And that's Things We Never Got Over, a story that proves you can run away from your wedding, get emotionally adopted by a small town, accidentally become a parent, punch out a billionaire, survive organized crime, and still end up hosting playdates 5 years later. If you enjoyed this sarcastic emotional roller coaster, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because nothing says personal growth like enabling more book chaos in your feed. Drop a comment if Knockemout stole your heart, if Knox Morgan set unrealistic standards for grumpy men everywhere, or if Tina still raises your blood pressure years later. Thanks for listening. Take care of your emotional support characters. And remember, sometimes the things we never got over are exactly what saved us.